Hey, what up, YouTube? This your man Bouchon Glover with the Better Black America TV. I just wanted to do a quick reaction for day one of the Fani Willis and Nathan Wade trial, and man, it was wow. You remember Jerry Springer? Day one, you got the district attorney of Fulton County having to sit down and testify about her personal life. And a lot of the, I would say the lawyers saying in day one, they haven't found anything where they can actually be removed from the trial. But from a personal perspective, and I know personal opinions really do not matter when it comes to court cases, but a conflict of interest. I mean, when you have the district attorney sleeping with the hired help, no disrespect to Mr. Wade, but they have, based on the trial on day one, they had a relationship. They've been dating. He's been paying for trips and she's been paying him cash back. That sounds like money laundering. This is my personal opinion, allegedly. But if I tell you to go ahead and pay for a trip and then I run you the cash, then, what do we have? And then Fani Willis spoke on having large sums of cash in the house, which a lot of us, we have, a cash box. And over time, we can actually build it up. When you go home, you take out your loose change, your dollar bills, your fives, your tens, your twos and fews, and you typically, put them in a box. But she's talking about money to the level of, she said it could be $500 to $15,000. But then she recanted and thought about it, and she said it could be, $500 to $9,000, because anything over $10,000 you have to report. So in day one, they didn't even think that Fani Willis was going to testify, but Nathan Wade was sitting up there so nervous, twitching, drunk about 5 water bottles. He was discombobulated. He was real sure about certain things. When you're sure about certain things like your names and your birthdays, then when they asked him a question, let me see. When they start doing that, they're using their imagination. So we're going to see what day two brings. But day one, it was jaw dropping. It was mind boggling. I've never seen anything like this in my life. When you're talking about the prosecutor or the district attorney for one of the largest cases in American history known to man. And if that could be debatable, but in the state of Georgia, the largest case that the state of Georgia have seen, with they're prosecuting a sitting, a former president who's actually running for president, and then you have the district attorney who's compromised, who's been having an open relationship with the lawyer that she hired for the case. Think about that. And in terms of credibility, did he qualify, or does Nathan Wade qualify? To my understanding, he was a personal injury attorney. He's never prosecuted a felonious or a felony case. So how is this possible that he can actually get the job that's paying, literally $500,000, $650,000, little more than $500,000. And turns out that he's sleeping with the DA. And it's crazy how the day that he signed the retainer or got the job, that his divorce papers went into effect, and he said out of his mouth, "Oh, that was coincidental." Okay, that's fine and all, but we're sitting back, really listening and understanding that, this here is this is huge. This is big. I know you watched the sound bites with Fani Willis, being snappy, saying certain things, but under oath, she's nervous, she's shaking in her boots, and she's completely, allegedly, in my personal opinion, lying. Now, as a person who understands body language, now if I'm talking to you and I'm sure about what I'm saying, I'm direct with what I'm saying. But if I'm sitting back and I'm, twiddling my hair and, I don't remember, I can't recall, then that's when the, the suspect or the lies kind of come into effect. So I'm here really I'm waiting on day two. And on day two, they already have, 7,000 people waiting to actually watch it. I'm watching it on my computer, but this is crazy. So from a top-down perspective, I watched some of the news outlets, and some of the news outlets said that she was someone that they selected for the position. Some of the higher powers, I'm not going to mention no names, but she said out of her own mouth that she didn't even want to be district attorney. She didn't even want to do the job. But then she said, sitting there frustrated, said, why I got to do it? Kind of like, top down. Because she basically used $50,000 of her own campaign money when she was running for a judgeship, and she lost. And then she said that she was going up against somebody that she knew she couldn't win. But all of a sudden, somebody from the top made a decision, selected her. This is why she has been put in this compromising position to basically prosecute a presidential candidate, because the people in high places know how to select them. They know how to put people in places, just like Fani Willis, Alvin Bragg, Letitia James in New York. See, when you get behind that dark money, when you get behind, money, and you're dealing with evildoers in high places, you are forced to do things no matter how you feel or what you think. And we have to be totally honest, because she said it herself. She did not want to be district attorney. She had a cushy job that required her to show up to work once or twice a week, and she was making a nice sum of cash. She said it herself. But now her career is in subject. Her career is in turmoil. Her personal life is being exposed. And if you ask a woman, no disrespect to women, I love women, but we literally downgrade. If you ask a woman, how many men have you slept with? If she say, maybe one, maybe two or three, but one, come on now, we know it's about 10 plus. She said before the dates in question that they went out a couple times, they went out a few times, and then they asked her questions, and she basically had to come clean, because they had somebody that knew both of them testify and said that they were having an open relationship. She witnessed them kissing in public. She witnessed them going to dinner in public. She witnessed them hugging, and literally just clearly in some type of relationship. Now, if you are living in a major city and you go out on a date, okay, you go out on a date, you're holding hands, or you run into friends. I mean, it's easy to allege that somebody, if you see a man and a woman sitting at dinner, having dinner together, if you see that, okay, and then you see them at the bar, and then you see them at the basketball game together, it's fair to assume that they're dating, okay? So we are literally, believing what we see. And then they're talking about receipts, because the bottom line is that she's actually, the case is about misappropriating funds. So she's basically has a timeline. She said that she's not going to, Fani Willis says she's not going to, show her bank records, but she has been talking and communicating and saying, a Napa Valley trip, they went on, trips and went and did things that, would be trackable. But the crazy part about it is, and then, because I'm seeing if it's going to start, the crazy thing about it is that they didn't think she was going to testify, but there was a moment that happened. There was a moment that happened. Okay, Mr. Wade was testifying, and they pulled his bank records. And in Mr. Wade's bank records, he basically, had incidences where he paid with his card and she paid him or ran him the cash back. But then there was a few situations, like 3 situations, where there was a cabin situation out of state. And they started asking Mr. Wade, they said, okay, so on this particular date in question, did she pay you back for the trip to the cabin? And he sat there. He was like, start drinking the water, start twitching. Okay. And he was like, I'm not sure. And then they brought up another date, okay, in question. Did she pay you back for this trip to the cabin? And then they brought up another one. And what about on this date in question? Did she pay you back? And then he sat back, the camera spun to Fani Willis, and she put her head down, and she was just sitting there kind of, because they didn't think she was going to testify. Nathan Wade basically drank some water, said, well, let me be sure. I've never taken her to the cabin. So who did you take to the cabin? So that was the moment, a climatic moment, where Fani Willis realized that he's been dating other women on my dime, on the card that I given him access to, because if he didn't take her to the cabin, and they brought up 3 instances where he went to a cabin. And next thing you know, Fani Willis was standing right there, frustrated, and she's going to testify. Ooh, she was hot. She was hot. And then they had asked Mr. Wade, when did you guys stop having a relationship? And then he says, does that mean a sexual relationship? Yeah, I didn't want to, the prosecutor or the state or Trump's people said, yeah, I didn't want to say that. But when did you guys stop having a sexual relationship? And Mr. Wade said, I would say, man, the last time y'all slept together. But this is him, trying to clean it up, because probably somebody that he done took to that cabin, is watching. So he's sitting back. I would say summer. Okay, you got summer. You got late May, June, July, August, and parts of September. He goes, now in my mind, I was like, watch he say early. June. Okay, really made her hot again. But they asked her the same question. And she said, well, Mr. Wade said, well, I'm a man, trying to say as though my memory's off. But he's basically saying, I'm a man and I got, I got a few of them. You know what I'm saying? That's what I do. That's what he was really saying. But he said, June, I'm a man, so I don't, I can't recall or recollect. Yeah, okay, whatever. Okay, but when she took the stand, they asked her the same question. And, she started flicking her eyes, start scratching her edges, lean back. Because remember, when you're serious and you're convincing, you're talking straight, you're to the point, you're giving eye contact, you're giving details. But when you're tripping, she's sitting back like, scratching her head. And she said, well, Mr. Wade's a man. So I'm going to go ahead and say August is when we had the talk. But they asked her, when was the last time y'all slept together? And she said, oh, you want something salacious, but I'm going to just say, this is what I'm going to say. Because what you're not going to do, and she was literally contempt of court, but it's crazy how the district attorney is sitting in the same seat where she prosecuting Slim Thug on a RICO case. That's crazy. But look, she sat back and said, I'm not going to, you want some salacious stuff, but I'm going to say it like this. We had to talk and she thought about it. Remember, if you're serious and you sure, we talking straight to the camera, you communicating grave details. She goes, I'm going to say about August. And I'm sitting back like, wow. So we have a district attorney having a relationship with the prosecutor that she has hired for one of the major cases in American history, at least one of the major cases in the state of Georgia, and they are literally having an affair or in a relationship. And he gets the job, and the day after he gets the job, by coincidence, he put the divorce papers in to get a divorce because if I can understand human beings, if we're going to continue to be together, you're going to have to support, you're going to have to, file for divorce. I'm not going to sit back and be running you that bread and doing all of this, and you're not, and you're legally documented on paper, still married. Boom. So this is one of the other keys before they start. One of the other keys to the case. Now, he got a contract for some work. She hired his law firm, for some work, at 40, I think she said $60 an hour, which is really not, from a lawyer's perspective, those are just, some cases, because when she became district attorney, there was a lot of backlash, a lot of back filings and things like that that needed to be taken care of. So she hired his firm. Okay. Now, one of the lawyers that was examining or running the case, he basically asked Mr. Wade, and he said it like this. And Mr. Wade is a brother, and he played it smooth. He was smooth with it. He said to Mr. Wade, so now, what was the status of your relationship when you re-upped? And he was like, re-up? What are you talking about? Explain to me what re-up means. You know what I mean, Mr. Wade. He said, were you guys in a relationship? You established the first contract. Okay. But were you guys in a relationship and having sex when you re-upped? He said, I'm not going to use that term re-up. He said, okay, were you guys in a relationship when you got the second contract? And the answer was yes. So think about that. That's insubordination. That is a conflict of interest. That is literally a pay for play. So when you sit back and you sign deals with people and allow dark money to get you elected and put in office, you got to pull up, because I truly believe, this is my thinking, allegedly, that possibly that Mr. Wade was about to ruin everything, because he sucked as a witness, that somebody made the call and said, you're going to have to get up there. You're going to have to get up there. All that money I invested in you, making you the district attorney, and now your career is on the line. You better get up there and do what you do. And she got up there, and man, she was hot. She was contempt. She was mean. She was aggressive. And she was, what you not going to do? And then, in the state of Georgia, little in that Southern hospitality. And she was like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. One of them prosecutors said something to her, and she said, look, lady. I'm sitting back like, whoa. So, man, this is, my reaction to day one. Day two is about to start, show, because that's literally what it is. It's like watching Jerry Springer back in the day, because, man, this is like, so hopefully, a little more respect in the courtroom. We'll have the prosecution side, or the Trump's people, have some receipts or have some documentation that they want to submit to the court for review on both sides, for the judge review and for the defense to review, because there should be some type of track record to cash and to the funds when you're a district attorney and elected official. So she's basically saying, she don't have receipts for all of this cash that's been, being funneled. And we all know that a personal injury attorney and Mr. Wade allegedly should not be on this high profile case. So with that being said, man, this your man Bushan Glover with a reaction to day one of the Fani Willis and Nathan Wade motions in Georgia. Peace out. Hey, like and subscribe. And man, y'all have a great day. And I'll tap in with y'all. This your man Bushan Glover. Peace out.